Hello, this is a very brief introduction on how we're going to use Adobe Connect for our NYSRA meetings. You receive the URL from the secretary, and basically the URL is the web address, and it's hyperlinked. So all you have to do is after where it says click here, you click on the numbers and letters that follow that, and it will automatically open into the room. It may take a minute to upload on your computer, and it might say something like connecting with Adobe Connect or accessing Adobe Connect. It may ask you to give permission to connect, and you need to say yes to all of that. And you'll automatically enter the online meeting room. And let me show you what that's going to look like. So there you can see it's saying Adobe Connect. So I've entered the meeting room, and this is a meeting that Judy and Peter and I had. So if you look over here on the right-hand side, I'm going to kind of move my cursor around. Kay Gormley is the host, and I'll make Judy a host tomorrow also. And Peter is one of the participants. And one of the first things I have to do is to turn on his microphone. Now, his microphone I've already turned on. You can see right there it's turned on, and I can disable it. So it may take me a minute to get through each person, but I will do that, and then you'll be in here. You'll also see when you enter the room, it will look like this. So here we are in the room. And I'm going to turn on for myself. I'm going to connect my audio, and it'll say I have to allow it. So I'm going to allow it. I need to do two. I'm going to go down to the layouts, and I'm going to use the sharing format, which is already turned on, because that means that I can eventually put something there. So if we look over here, you can see the active speakers. I'm an active speaker, and Peter's also in here, Peter McDermott. Now, I've already turned on his microphone, and there's a little icon that shows up. If I want to shut it off, I can disable it, and that kind of thing. If there was something that Peter wanted to share, I could do it that way. But all you're going to do is sign in, and then I'm going to make sure that you are enrolled and able to speak. As long as you have a microphone, that won't be a problem. And if we can't hear you, then I'll ask you to do things like check the volume of your microphone and so forth. So once I have enabled the microphones, everyone will be able to speak, but we don't want to do that all at once. Now I want to show you another feature, the chat feature. We're going to use that for back channeling. And that doesn't mean a conversation about what you're having for dinner or what you're doing this weekend, although that's probably of interest to some of you, but I'll show you how that works. Right down here is the chat feature, and everyone is in here. And initially, Peter couldn't hear me, and so he says, I'm typing now, and then he said good, because he could hear me. And then suppose for some reason I don't have a microphone, or suppose I can't get my microphone to work as a participant. I can type a comment in here. So I might say, this is Kay, and my microphone is not working, so I will make comments here. So you might ask to be recognized, and then they would do that. And once you've typed in there, you hit return, and it's going to show right up here under the chat feature. So we want to make sure that we're using the chat feature. But if everybody types at once and has these lots of kind of back channeling conversations, we won't be able to keep track of what's going on. Judy will be the one who will be calling on people. I want to talk a little bit about how you're recognized. There is a spot where you can raise your hand, and then Judy will call on you in the order in which you raise your hand. I've already shown you the chat feature, but I want to just caution you, as much as we love all of you, and we're all chatty sorts because we're all in teaching, you can't simply start talking or we're just going to not be able to hear. We'll have all sorts of crazy feedback. So let me show you how to raise your hand. Up here on the top, I'm moving my cursor around. You will see that there is a spot here where you can click on it and you can raise your hand if you want to speak, right? Or if there's a vote, you could say agree, which means yes, or disagree, which means no. And those are the features probably that we'll use most, and I think that that will work. Peter at one point had raised his hand, and it would show up right over here, and it will look just like this person with a single hand raised. You did receive documents for the meeting. Judy sent them to me, and then I forwarded them to everyone. And what I'm going to do so that you don't have a problem seeing them is I'm going to upload whatever document she's talking about. It might take me a minute or two to get it up there for everyone to see it, but I'll display each document so we're all on the same page. And let me show you how I'm going to do that. Now, obviously, if you're a hard copy person, you probably want to print it all out and have it in front of you, but it's certainly your choice. So I'm right here. You can probably see this, and I can share my screen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to browse my computer. So it'll take a minute, and it will upload it. And so once I've done it, there it is. So we'll be able to see it now. That isn't big enough for me to see. So I'm actually going to make it 125 and see if that's bigger. Well, that's better, but I'm a little blind. So I'm going to do 150. And then that's probably big enough for all of us to see. So that means that anything that we need to look at, we'll be able to see. And then I can move it right down so keep track of where we are and what's going on. And I can do any number of things here so that we can see it. I could put an arrow, and I could kind of move that as we needed to. But it's pretty straightforward. You'll be able to have access to the documents online here and not have to do them. And that's pretty much how it will go. I don't see us having a lot of trouble. It may take me a few minutes. I'll kind of walk through the pieces again tomorrow, but we should be all set. So thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.